Sir,
All right.
Mr.
Court is
Caruso,
now in
can you
session
shout?
in the case of LSPD versus Trey Roberts. It's going to be in reference to incident number 941. And I will go ahead and for procedural, we have on the defendant's side, Mr. Raj Patel representing Trey Roberts, along with Anthony Rizzo. And who else is that with you, Mr. Patel?
Manny Maserati, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And then from the LSPD, we have, so bad with names, my apologies. Well, we have from BCSO Captain Ricky Smith. We also have the ranking officer on duty right now, which is Mac Roney. And what other officer do we have as well? Who's
Jack
that?
Cooper.
Cooper, thank you. Okay. All right, you guys can be seated. If you can sit.
Yeah, I'm a.
Raj, I will go ahead and open up the floor for you for an opening statement.
Beautiful. Yep. I thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate the court's time. Specifically, Your Honor, the court staff, and all the ladies and gentlemen present on behalf of Trey Roberts. Your Honor, today we are here to talk about the validity of this incident report against my client. This incident report alleges many things. This incident report is also alleging that my client, more specifically Trey Roberts, was manufacturing firearms. It alleges that he had a copious amount of drugs on him. It also alleges that my client was at fault, more specifically for assault on government official multiple times. And I just want to bring it to your honor's attention that this report has many fallacies to it and has absolutely very little detail to it, which you will read in the court proceeding here today. I also would like to bring it to the court's attention that almost all almost all of these charges that are being pledged against my client here today are absolutely unacceptable and a misrepresentation by the LSPD and false charges, to be quite blunt with you. I also would like to bring it to the court's attention upon my further review of this report. It should have been titled, let me see here. This is in regards to the report 941 titled Trey Roberts Bank Truck. And I also would like to state that it is also here alleging that there was, oh, I already said that. Perfect. Okay, beautiful. So to further state, I would like to bring it to your attention that there is also no evidence in this report that was filed on this report in regards to this incident, and that is all I have to say at this time, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patel. All right, so for everyone's knowledge in the court today, I'm going to go ahead and read the report and the charges that Mr. Trey Roberts faced. And for the record, Mr. Roberts has already done his time, which was 60 months, and received a fine of $96,000. So the summary reads, L66 responded to a bank truck robbery. Once arrived, there was only one suspect, and he was attempting to flee the scene in a gold-colored Sultan, and all officers had to chase the suspect. The suspect ended up 1050, which means a vehicular accident for anyone who does not know, next to Vespucci Boulevard, Postal 772, where he gets out of the vehicle and fires upon 5 Leo. The suspect is then gunned down, taken to pillbox, then processed down at MRPD to be sent off to jail. Weapons items confiscated: a machine pistol, 2 heroin balloons, and 2 stacks of marked money. He was charged with 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon on a government official, 3 counts of possession of Schedule 3 drug, and 1 count of manufacture of automatic weapons. there are some evidence pictures which were added from the scene. Can I view this? There we go. That you can, I think if you can't see it, Raj, you may have to refresh, but there's evidence photos from the scene of shell casings, it appears.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Is there a way to enlarge this? I'm sorry.
You left click and then you right click on it to expand image.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. And then for officers involved, we have James Pierce, Jackson Cooper, Ryan Miller, John McTuffie, Ricky Smith. And in the courtroom today, we have Ricky Smith, Jackson Cooper, and then Macaroni is here as representation of the command. As this is an appeal, no new evidence will be allowed to be presented against the defendant in the case. I will allow Mr. Patel to ask questions of the department to clarify anything from the report that he wants to clarify or bring in to review anything from the report.
Beautiful. May I proceed with that, Your Honor?
You may.
So for clarification, at what point in time were the photos that are currently in evidence of this MDT, at what time were they added?
Who are you asking? Just in general, or
Well, either yourself or anyone that's
they were
defending
added
these allegations.
about 2 minutes straight after the photos were taken, and then when he was taken down to the cells, I think Miller or whatever the arresting officer was, they added it onto it. Pierce, he added it onto it after I think Mr. Roberts was sent away.
Okay, so I'm gonna clarify this. That's my apology. At what point were these photos added to this report? At what time approximately?
I couldn't give you a approximate time, but after Mr. Roberts was sent off, because he told me that he was going to finish the report and he added the photos after Mr. Roberts was sent off.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to bring to your attention, which you probably have seen for yourself, that these images were added within the past 10 to 15 minutes of this appellate court beginning. So I would like to bring that to your attention, that these were not present originally, and I do have a documentation stating that upon my original review of them, that these evidence photos were not present during my original reading of this. So I would like that to be known. Thank you. Moving on, at what point did you find it necessary that he was charged with one times manufacture of firearms?
That had nothing to do with my charge. Or I didn't authorize that charge, nothing. That was all LSPD side from the arresting officer.
Okay, I guess, who is the arresting officer, I should ask? Is
Pierce, he's
Mr.
not
Pierce
here.
present today?
No,
Negative.
sir.
He is not. Okay. Okay, well, then I'll move on to my next question. At what point was possession of Schedule 3 drugs stacked 3 times charged upon my client today?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. At what point did it was I'm sorry. At what point was it necessary to charge my client with possession of Schedule 3 drug 3 times?
That's another question for Piers, but I know he was going to get possession of Schedule 3 drug times by 1 due to the heroin, but I don't know, it was stacked 3 times. That is another question for Piers, for the arresting officer who's not here.
Okay, perfect. And I'll move on to another question. At what point was my client, and why is my client charged or being charged with an alleged assault of deadly weapon on a government official times 3?
Because he opened fire at multiple. He got out of his vehicle, opened fire on me, and then opened fire on another 2 vehicles, and then he was taken down. So he
Okay.
opened fire on more than 3 officers, but the arresting officer charged him with only 3 counts.
Okay. I will go ahead and move everyone's attention to the summary of the incident. It is alleged that my client shoots, or I'm sorry, it says he gets out of the vehicle and fires upon fivem. What evidence that is submitted right here today do you have to prove that my client here did shoot 5, or in this case, 3 LEOs allegedly in any of this circumstance?
I think I grabbed evidence bags of blood. I'm not sure. There could be in the evidence locker still. I'm not sure if they got logged in a report, but I grabbed evidence bags of blood.
Okay, beautiful. Which are not present. I would like to remind the court that none of that evidence is currently present at this point. I will move on. Go ahead, Sadi.
Raj, if I may, to get this out of the way, because there's the only evidence that's noted in here is these pictures, and then there's items confiscated.
Okay.
So from the LSPD BCSO side, what are these items confiscated? There's machine pistol, 2 bags, 2 balloons of heroin, and 2 stacks of marked money. Okay, let me clarify.
Yeah,
Where did these items come from?
they came from Mr. Trey Roberts.
Okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
All right, so is that your testimony that these items came from Trey Roberts on the
Can you hear
scene?
me?
Yes, they were in his pockets on scene.
Okay.
Hey, can
And
you
in the
hear me?
report, there's no, other than photos, there's no annotation of evidence of blood and, I believe you said, did you say shell casings?
Yeah, I gathered
Okay.
bullet casings and blood on scene.
Okay, so the court's going to allow, since they recovered those items from Mr. Trey Roberts on the scene, and they testify to that here, the court will allow the machine pistol, the 2 bags of heroin, and the 2 stacks of marked money to be annotated as evidence, which my paralegal next to me has in her possession. Since the blood and the shell casings are not noted in the report as evidence against Mr. Roberts, that evidence is not admissible.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, appreciate the clarification there. If I may continue with my line of questioning, if that's okay with you?
Yes, please.
Beautiful. So to move on to my next question here, so it says that Lincoln 66 is this individual present? Lincoln 66?
No,
No,
that
he's
is
not.
Pierce.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, it also I'm still having a hard time figuring out was my client Mirandized at any point? Because
That
there's
would
no
have-
mention of any Mirandization happening on this report right here.
That would also be another question for Piers, or unless any other officer heard him, Mirandaized him on his way to pillbox. If not,
So
then
we're
that'd be a
going
question
off
for.
of the belief
Uh,
or the assumption of, correct?
On the
I'm
way
not-
to
I'm-
pillbox,
I'm
he
saying-
got taken by fire.
I'm saying
So
if
he was transported by EMS?
he was transported by fire.
Because that's not notated in the report at all. So I'm trying to get clear. So he was in fact transported by an entirely different department then, correct?
Yes, correct.
And does anyone know at which point that he was Mirandized, if at all?
I do not. That's a question for the arresting officer again.
Okay. All right. I will then ask at what point, where did this, I guess it says 1050, was there some, what it says, let me see here, sorry. Okay, never mind. I answered my own question. Okay, last but not least, how is it that you are able to prove that my client here, Trey Roberts, is the individual that did any of the alleged in this report?
That's. Can you answer that? Because
What was the question? I didn't hear him.
How are you able to identify and correctly prosecute Mr. Trey Roberts, my client, here based off of the incident report before us, ID number 941? Based off of what evidence?
Uh, no idea.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to now bring to your attention, based off of the conversation and my line of questioning here with the officers to the left of me, I am going to formally request that all charges be dropped off of my client based of a lack of information, a lack of evidence, and I would also like to hopefully get not only the revocation of this fine, but he did do time served as well. So I would like that to be taken into account. But ideally, the request here is to have all charges dropped due to insufficient and false charges and false imprisonment of my client.
All right, thank you, Raj. The court notes your request. Who, just for, I have some questions as well. Who was present in the cells during processing?
Ricky and Pierce.
Okay, so Captain Smith, you were in the cells during processing, correct?
Not the whole time. Halfway, I got there. I think halfway through, not just before he got sent off. While I think Pierce was doing the charges, I was still on scene collecting the casings and blood. While Mr. Roberts was in the cell.
Okay. And what is the process when somebody is taken to the cells?
The process, he would get fingerprinted, mugshot. If he doesn't have any of that, then he would get placed in a cell and uncuffed and searched again to make sure there's nothing else on him, then uncuffed.
Okay. And to your knowledge, was Mr. Roberts fingerprinted and identified in the cells?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, he did give us his name in the cells.
Thank you. Okay. The other question I have here is, this stemmed from a bank truck robbery, correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Why is bank truck robbery, was that never charged?
That is another question for the arresting officer. Same on mostly all these charges.
Okay. Was there any evidence Captain Smith provided to you in the cells that would support the manufacture of automatic weapons charge?
Negative.
Okay. And after the scene ended, how many officers were treated for gunshot wounds or injuries from this incident?
I don't think anyone was treated. I took bullets myself. My armor took most of it, and I used my IFAC. I'm not sure about the other officers, but myself, I used one of my personal IFACs.
And I wasn't one of the officers that was hit.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the court in recess for 10 minutes. We will reconvene in 10 minutes, so that is midnight EST.
Stand up, Trey, stand up. All right. It's just you stand up when he stands up and leaves. That's all.
My chair knocked over.
All good, brother. All good. All right. Well, that's yup.
Are you still shouting?
Nope. Why do I sound loud?
You did, but I'm also right next to you. So.
Oh, all right, but yeah, I mean, that's probably as going as best as I'd imagine it's gonna go. I think this should be a fairly easy attempt.
Let's step over here.
Yeah, we should probably.
Oh, I'm stuck. Hold on.
Mancini, you there?
Yes, sir.
I fell asleep there for a sec. What I missed? Where's everybody?
You fell asleep. That's funny.
Yeah, I totally did. Were you intermission? What's going on?
Oh well, we're at the 10-minute pause phase right now. The
Smoke break?
the defense side is asking for dismissal of all charges due to
Yeah, I
fabrication,
saw that.
fabrication of evidence, and just lacking evidence overall. And then, I think they got it. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna dismiss it outright because he did admit to shooting him. So I think it should be at least attempted murder on count at least one.
They'll probably do assault with a deadly weapon towards a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
They're hesitant to give out the murder, attempted murder charges.
Oh, okay. So just assault. So I don't think
I'm not a lawyer though.
I don't think everything's gonna be dropped. I think it's just gonna be something. They're gonna give them something. I can't imagine they're gonna drop every single thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a. Did you read the report?
Which one is it?
Just look up Trey. It's the top one.
Oh wow, there's
mean-
nothing here.
Don't say that too loud, but
Holy shit, there's nothing here. Yeah, I'm
3
on-
counts with only 2 items.
Yeah, I'm on Whisper. Holy fuck, there's nothing here.
It's got more holes than a fucking block of Swiss cheese, really.
Who's the arresting officer? Who's James Pierce?
I don't know. Ghosts for all I know.
I think he's a cadet. Responded to a bank truck robbery. Once arrived, there was only a suspect. There was only one suspect, and he was attempting to flee the scene in a golden color Sultan. And all officers had to chase the suspect. It up at a 1050 next to Bushy Boulevard, postal 772, where he gets out of the vehicle and fires upon 5 allies. Box. Then processed down at MRPD to be sent to jail. Weapons confiscated. Machine pistol 1, heroin, balloon 1.
I mean, if you really wanted to be crazy, you could charge him twice for the heroin balloons, but how do you get the third?
So it actually says on the SOPs that you're only supposed to charge them once per charge. You
Yeah, I
can't-
know, but I
you
mean,
can't
like, if
stack.
you were still being, if you wanted to be a cock about it, you know. But yeah, it's still one charge for the 2 balloons.
So what are they? So that doesn't even make sense. He shot at 5, but it's only times 3. So I don't know why he stopped at 3. Possession of Schedule 3 drug times 2 times 3. A manufacturer of assault weapons. How does he get manufacture of assault of an automatic weapon? Did he make him? The assembly or manufacture of any weapon that shoots more than 1 bullet per trigger. So it's assembly or manufacturing. How did he come with that conclusion that he was making?
Yeah, dude. You got possession of that firearm.
How do you
That's
enlarge the
not safe.
pictures, by the way?
You
I
left
think
click to
double
open
click.
it and then right click to
What is it?
expand it. Left click to like make it unblurry, and then right click to expand it.
Oh. I gotta make sure not to click remove. Holy shit. I don't know how many times that's happened. People accidentally remove them.
At least you know where they're saved.
It's a very small image. It's difficult to read. This is why I think we shouldn't even see this. We should be using better documentation in the email itself. because these are difficult to look at. He doesn't have his pocket specters. Where's his pockets at?
That's the thing. There isn't.
Then how do you prove there's a machine gun, heroin, and marked money?
Yeah.
There's a lot of bullets, but that doesn't say anything. That's part of the picture. How do you create the rest of the? Where's the rest of the canvas at?
Yeah, man.
Wow. We should use this. I tell you, we should make a class on what not to do.
I've been taking notes already, dude.
We should hold a class for everybody on what not to do.
Yeah, no, I literally have been taking notes.
And then do another one on get like a perfect layout of one, like the perfect case file, and then get one that's
No, I
like
could
random.
break it down into one presentation.
Actually, I might do that
Just
myself.
use
I
like-
might just like do a shitty one on purpose, just for.
You don't need to do a shitty one, dude.
But I don't want to say I don't want to call anybody out because if we go into a class, we're gonna call people out. They're gonna feel bad about it, right? So if we do one on purpose, that's like shitty, just like as a mock. And then we do like a perfect one to see the differences, and then we can argue as to why you do certain aspects within that report, why it's important to do certain aspects.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it's court adjourned or what's going on?
There's a legal term for it.
Siesta.
It's a adjourned? No, it's not
Week
adjourned.
break?
What's not that?
Hey, it's Mac.
It's your boy.
We got a bite spot. Oh, going on?
Robert,
Hey, how are you?
good. Get to catch the tail end of the bench trial. We're finding out. Actually, we're finding out now.
Oh, anyway, sir.
Yeah, I'll move down.
Ah,
Jeez. These things ain't work.
I need to have the
Stand up here with me now.
planners come in and move this
Up
chair
to that.
back just like an inch.
That's me saying, but I need one. If it's your phone, hang up on him.
All right, do we have everyone back? I believe so.
I believe we do.
All right, the court is back in session. I've taken the time to review both the statements from the defendant as well as the report and the evidence. So this is the decision of the court. Essentially, the charges of possession of a Schedule III drug are on 2 bags of heroin. So this court, since they've stacked 3 charges of possession of Class 3 drug on only 2 bags of heroin, those charges were false, and this court drops those charges. The charge of manufacture of automatic weapons is also dropped, as there is no evidence provided that Trey Roberts manufactured the firearm he was in possession of. Now we get to the case in its entirety. And this report, the way that reports need to be written is that they need to paint a picture of the entire scene from start to finish. And this report does little to paint any picture for anyone to really interpret. There's one note that they responded to a bank truck robbery and there was only one suspect and he was attempting to flee, but there's no note to say that they witnessed the suspect, Trey Roberts, blow the doors off that vehicle, grab money from that vehicle, assault the drivers of that vehicle, or anything. There's no notes in here to link Mr. Roberts to the bank truck robbery itself. In the evidence photos, there's no photos of the truck to even show that there was a bank truck robbery. So based on the fact that the probable cause of this entire case is called into question, I dismiss case 941. I am granting Trey Roberts a refund of his $96,000 fine, as well as $5,000 per month spent in jail, which comes out to $300,000, which gives Trey Roberts a full compensation from the Los Santos Police Department of $396,000 to be paid out immediately. And Mac, I hope you see to that, please. As far as the evidence, this court cannot hand back illegal items. My apologies, Mr. Roberts, but I cannot give back to you an illegal firearm, drugs, and unlawful currency. However, the compensation of $396,000 is also set to compensate you for your lost items. This court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, that sounds like a W.